Hey, what's up?
Hey, is that your boyfriend's car?
That's my car.
What are you driving?
Nothing. That's what she's picking me up.
Hello there.
I'm Aura, and I want to talk to you guys about car culture. More specifically, why women are excluded from it. Now, I witnessed this problem firsthand. I'm a car person. That doesn't mean I'm going to turn into a car and roll away. It just means that I really like cars. So, despite all my other hobbies, my social media feeds are primarily based in car culture. The largest events that I go to aren't parties, they're car meets. And I see this gender-based exclusion all around me. So in this speech, I want to talk about why this gender-based exclusion of women is a problem, possible ways we can fix it, and then why we should even bother. How is fixing this problem going to make the world a better place? So let's get into the details and the nitty-gritty and try and figure out what's going on. The masculine dominance of car culture is sustained even though an increasing number of women drive and work as car journalists. This statement used by Grace Les Maffei describes the issue of women in car culture perfectly. What's more, according to Bernie DeGroat in the University of Michigan news article, as of 2012, males represent less than 50% of drivers on the road, leaving the majority of driver's license carrying individuals to be women. So then if most of the drivers on the road are women, why is the car scene so male dominant? And why is it still a surprise to see a girl driving a modified car? Well, the root of the problem doesn't lie in the fact that there's a lack of female car enthusiasts. Because, as a matter of fact, thanks to the internet, the scene is growing bigger and bigger every day. And more women are joining in. So, there are exceptions to every scenario. But the issue is that women are still the exception. The main problem lies in the fact that the term female car enthusiast even exists. I think Taryn Croucher in a Speed Hunters article put it best. When was the last time you ever heard anybody use the term male car enthusiast? It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I think the more accurate root problem is male toxicity. The comment section of a Gears and Gasoline video titled, "Where are the car girls?" answers the video's question perfectly. Let's take a look together. We got, "I've never met a real car girl, and I doubt I ever will. Women will never love a car like a man will do." And we got a "Stupid video. No sane mind wants more women in their hobby. Any hobby that has more women will eventually go to shit." And we have this legend, "Why is everything about gender now? Cars are a guy's world, and dance or whatever is a girl's world. Simple." Very simple and very classy. This is a serious problem, and it's important. Why? Well, can you think of a hobby that wouldn't benefit from a little bit of diversity? Because I can't. And maybe it's me being selfish because I want to see more cars on the road modified and customized by women because I think the guys' taste in cars has gotten stale. There's no creativity on the road. And maybe it's kind of me being selfish. But there are some serious concerns when it comes to excluding women in car culture. More societally impactful concerns. Emily Fritz states that as we neglect to involve girls in car culture from a young age, we are also neglecting to involve them in opportunities to learn and gain skills such as the ability to use tools, the ability to formulate basic civil engineering, and the ability to come in contact with ways in which moving parts work. And if nothing is done about this, we might enter into another period of automotive malaise. The testosterone levels in car meets will only continue to rise. Women will forever remain sexual objects and accessories to cars. The only women in the industry would be models and umbrella girls, and the world will literally end. Okay, maybe not. But you can't really convince someone to like a hobby that they find no interest in. Some people just want to drive their Prius from point A to point B as transportation and live in misery and never have anything good in their life. Well, I'm not biased. Why would you think that? Okay, maybe I'm a little biased. I just want more people in my beloved hobby, and I think women are a great start. So, how do we get women into a hobby? Well, Taryn Croucher, in the same Speed Hunters article that I mentioned, has some pretty great ideas, and I'd like to share with you guys today. But the credit goes to her. First, we need to banish the female car enthusiast. That means the term female car enthusiast. Because women in car culture shouldn't be a phenomenon. There's this zeitgeist concept of a car girl that guys always think about. I don't think it should exist, because just the existence of these terms like female car enthusiast or car girl or lady driven implies that women are the exception and not the norm. And therein lies one of the key problems. But how do we get girls to get into the hobby and integrate themselves so that it eventually does become the norm? Well, as Taryn Croucher in that same article states, if you ask any enthusiast how their automotive passion began, you'll find that at some point in their life, they've been exposed to car culture in one way or another. And they've taken an interest in it. But I think opportunities like this are less common for women simply because people don't think that women are going to like cars. For women, at some point, I think there needs to be an influencer, someone that leads the way and shows them the light. Croucher also has a wonderful message for the girls hesitant about investing time and money into the hobby. And I know it seems like I'm just reading that article for you guys, but I really couldn't have said it better myself, and I really want to give her the credit for these words. She says, "You aren't sacrificing your femininity, and you can afford it. Newsflash, you don't have to be a tomboy to have an automotive hobby. You don't have to be any particular type of girl. You just have to be yourself. And all that money you're going to spend on car parts, you would have just spent on something else anyway. Probably some ridiculous impractical piece of furniture or some overpriced piece of clothing you'd only wear once and it would sit in your wardrobe for ages and you'd hate it in a week. No females can plead not guilty of this." So it's simple, really. All we need to do is just widen our perspective. And the effectiveness of this plan, well, it's more of a mindset, really, not a plan, is in its simplicity. Guys just need to stop assuming that girls won't like cars, and girls need to stop assuming that cars are a boys-only club. When all we want is the same thing, and we put our heads together, there's no way it can't work. So, assuming it does, and given some time, this gender-based exclusion is solved, what change would we expect to see? How would the world be different? Well, not only would we solve and break some gender roles, which not only plague car culture, but society at large, imagine having a girl post a picture on Instagram of her Nissan Silvia and not having the comments say, "You should be in front of the car, not behind the wheel," or "Your boyfriend has a nice car." Imagine a girl not having to work twice as hard as a guy to prove her knowledge in cars just because she's a girl. So this is what I want you guys to do. The men, stop being so closed off. Take off that "no girls allowed" sign off your door and be a little more inviting. Stop assuming that girls won't know what they're talking about. And if they say something wrong, just correct them. Just don't sound like a dick. If a girl asks you for help on her car, ask her if she would like to learn how to do it herself. She just needs to believe that she can do it, and it's your job to inspire that confidence. And girls, if you have even the slightest interest in cars, don't be afraid to explore it. There are so many individual women and just influencers in car culture that I'm sure you will be able to find an interest in. Ask questions, Google things, look up videos. There's so many resources on the internet about any part of car culture that you might be interested in. And if you want to experience just how satisfying being a car enthusiast can be, do an oil change. I know, it sounds insane. It sounds like, why would I do that? But trust me, Google how to change the oil on your make and model car. Go on YouTube and look up Chris Fix videos and Donut Media Science Garage videos and learn, just try to absorb as much as you can about cars. And when you try that oil change, and you drive your car for the first time and everything just works, it's empowering. It brings a lot of joy to know that you don't have to be dependent on your mechanic. The car world is magical, and we're doing a disservice to our beloved hobby by excluding people out of it, especially based on silly things like gender. Again, if you have even the slightest interest in cars, don't be afraid to jump in the deep end. No pun intended, I'm in an empty pool. Just keep Googling questions and ask and ask. And look at YouTube videos and look up lady-driven builds on Instagram. But it's going to be an uphill battle. There will always be someone that hates on your car or thinks you aren't a car enthusiast because of what you drive or who you are. And they're always going to attempt to test your knowledge. As a girl, you will constantly be challenged in the community, but don't let it discourage you. Surround yourself with people who care for you, teach you, share your passion, and welcome you. Don't let one experience steer you away from something that could possibly bring tremendous joy and satisfaction to your life. And if this sounds kind of like a cult, that's because it is. One of us, one of us, one of us, one of us, one of us.